Greetings and salutations. So, I'm out here with the 93 Jeep again, and just like every other hoopty on this property, I'm experiencing some electrical snafus. And if you go back to the beginning when I purchased this vehicle and brought it home, and I showed you around, and you should have seen the wiring fiasco that was underneath this dash. And I'm sure that probably has something to do with the problem that I'm experiencing, and that being I don't have any dash lights and I don't have any running lights, front or rear. Flashes work, the headlights work, but the other lights don't, including the dash lights. And also, it may or may not be related, the wiper motor doesn't work. I have power to this wire. Looks like somebody tried to fix it at one point. Way up underneath there's the fuse box, one of the fuse boxes, and there's another one under the hood. I checked the one under the hood yesterday and everything's fine, but somewhere in here is a connector that feeds the rear lights. I need to uncover that, and at some point I believe I'm going to have to get into this dash. I need to do that anyway because I need to find out if that head unit's any good, or if I need to take that out and throw it away. But it doesn't look like that head unit's just sitting in there. It's not fastened. But there was, a plethora of toggle switches and all manner of fuckery that was going on. There was some kind of Ooga horn underneath here, and some kind of makeshift air horn and some other stuff. And nothing was tied to relays. Everything was direct wired, and everything was wired with a red wire, so there was no rhyme or reason to any of it. And this really, when I purchased this thing, it was just a freaking fireball waiting to happen. But I need to track this down because I can't legally drive this thing without running lights, at least not on the street. And so I have a copy of the fuse box here, and what fuses go where, and a detailed list of what all the fuses do and where they go. So I think the smart thing to do is to check the fuse box first, check the easy stuff, and then once we've eliminated everything on the fuse box, and if they still haven't found the problem, then we need to dig a little bit deeper and get into the wiring itself. Probably start with uncovering that connector and making sure that's not butchered or broken. And if that checks out, then I'll take this dash bezel out and get inside there and try to figure out, maybe the light switch is bad. I don't know. Again, a little electrical shit. Maybe I should just grab the keys and see if the front wipers work. I'm pretty sure they do. Maybe that's what I want to get my keys. I'm going to figure out what works and what doesn't. Then we'll go from there. Well, I think it may have just lucked out. Circuit 15. IP lamps, clock, radio clock, illumination, rear lamps, front lamp. And that was the only fuse that was blown under there. And if I look underneath the hood in the fuse center, the auxiliary fan fuse was blown. I didn't have a 20 amp fuse, so I put in a 25 amp fuse. And as many of you may know, this was in a front end collision, with the majority of the hit right here on this portion of the frame. I did replace the front light harness, but that had gotten pinched, and I would imagine that with all this other garbage that's been spliced into this is the fan plug here, that either through the accident or just plain dickery, with all the splices and electrical add-ons that overloaded that circuit. Those two circuits, the electric fan and the circuit 15 and the fuse center, or the fuse box on the dash. Now, I'm On this particular model Jeep, they use 3 different sizes of fuses. They use the little bitty baby fuses, the great big honking big ass fuses, and the normal size fuses. I have the normal size fuses. I don't have the other sizes, the other 2 sizes. So I need to pick up an assortment of those. I'll replace this fuse and see if it blows right away, and if it does, well, I know that I got a short someplace. If it doesn't and everything seems to work fine, then it'll probably be fixed. Let's see. Load. I fixed it. I'm a real boy. I can't tell if there's any dash lights on in there. I guess I'll just have to wait till tonight and try them out. Figured out my lights. Haven't quite figured out my wiper motor, so I'm going to take that off and see if I can't bench test it. At least find out if there's something broken inside internally. It looks like I'm going to need a wiper motor for the rear. I'm going to do something you should never do, and that's hook up a bare wire XT60 to a RC battery. Because if you touch these two together, this battery could explode. So I put the washer motor, or the windshield wiper motor back on. It works, kinda. When I push on wash, it works. When I put it on wipe, it doesn't. So it might be the switch. I don't know. It might be the relay. It might be the washer motor. I don't know. But right now I don't care because the weather stripping showed up. From Precision. This stuff comes with the bottom piece of stainless attached to it already. So it looks like I'm going to have to get out the rattle can and scuff that stainless up and paint it. It's not necessarily a bad thing. So I'm going to work on putting this stuff on. Yeah, I'm going to do that. Trick that can save you a ton of aggravation when it comes to these rear windshield wiper arms and trying to get these on the splines when the dealio is spring loaded here. It's really pretty simple. Let me grab something right quick. Okay, you see how this arm is spring loaded? What you need to do is, I'm going to just use a little Torx bit that I have here. Shove that in there like so, and now the spring tension is taken off of it. I can slide this on without too much effort, get it on where I want it, push it in place. When I'm done, pop this thing out, and Bob's your uncle. Without this thing in here, you can see how the window is interfering with my ability to get this on the spline straight. So just pull this back, shove that in there, and now pressure's off the window, and I can go ahead and get that aligned properly, and I can test it even. Let's see. Something like that. One thing that I did get that I haven't installed yet was these. What are those, you might be asking? That's a great question. Thanks for asking. Look at that. 4 of them. They're about $5 a piece, plus shipping. So they got about 30 bucks into these. I don't know if this is going to come through in the camera, but how these are retained. And this is brand new plastic. It's pretty flexible. This, not so much. After 20 plus years, they're kind of brittle. So the way to get these things off, you need to get in here with a little tiny screwdriver and pry one of these legs out to get this to unclamp from the post. So if you see this collar right here is what this part clamps on. Well, in a perfect world, you just take this and yank it, and it would come right off. That's not how it happens. 2 of these had the knob was broke off anyway, and I think this was completely broken. The whole arm was broken on the driver's door. I could have got them at the junkyard, but I'd run into the same problem and probably break them before I get them off. So I just bought new ones, and this is probably the last thing that's going to go on this Jeep. Once I know that everything is copacetic and everything's working, I might have to take these door panels off one more time to lubricate the cables for the window regulators. All right, to deal with these deposits here, these rust deposit. This is just the iron in the steel that's leached from the bleached out paint that used to be out here. It's leached down and dribbled onto the window, and it's deposited that metal onto the window, and that won't come off without acid. You can use muriatic acid, hydrochloric acid, but the thing is you don't want to get acid down into the internal workings of the door. So what I use is toilet bowl cleaner. And you got to get toilet bowl cleaner that has a percentage of acid in it, and this is the active ingredient here is 10% hydrochloric acid. I've not used this brand before. I use a different brand, but they didn't have any. So you want to get the gel kind, because it sticks to the glass instead of running off the glass. You just apply it with a paper towel. Let it do its thing.
Moments later.
Now I'm taking this Brillo pad and trying to work through the deposit. This is a particularly heavy deposit of rust, but I can feel this scraping it off. The acid is eating into the mineral, That's not harming the glass. At least I hope it's not. We'll find out in a minute. Wipe off the excess. And you can clean the glass and neutralize the acid with glass cleaner. So if you have mineral deposits on your glass, whether it's rust or, you know, any other calcium or any other mineralization, you can use something like this. I've even used toilet bowl cleaner on paint just to get like water spots, you know, calcium deposits that are on paint. But you want, if you're going to use it on paint, test an obscure area first before you start slathering toilet bowl cleaner all over the side of your car. Cost $1. Now the big old rust stain is gone. Alright, I elected not to paint this trim simply because I don't want to. Here we are, got the windshield trim in, the window trim. And somehow I have misplaced one. Don't know where it went. Can't seem to find it anywhere. So I'll have to get one of those if I can't find it. But the thing I got left to do here is put this little piece of molding in, this little cap piece here for the rear. I forgot to put those in. They're in the garage. I'll mess with that tomorrow morning. But tomorrow I'm going to pull this thing up here in a driveway and fix those oil leaks, methinks. And I need to get back on my hour a day on the dart, and I got to run down to either I either got to go get steel or plywood. Can't do both, so I have to think on that. So I want to get going on stuff on the bus again. So I know some of you are really chomping at the bit for bus content. I really wasn't expecting the window sweeps until Wednesday. I checked this morning and they said they were going to be here on the 7th. Was that tomorrow? I don't know. I wasn't expecting them today. The last I checked this morning, they were in either in Phoenix or in Salt Lake. I don't remember. Anyway, imagine my surprise when FedEx pulls up and drops off a box. I'm like, what the hell is this? Hey, awesome. So that's done. That's good. I'm not going to get anything out of it, but I'll put a link to the website where I got that stuff. Those weather stripping and the little clips for the windshield trim. I'll put a link in the description for that. And if you decide to go over there and buy something, I would appreciate it if you just sent them a little message and said, hey, the Diesel Freak sent you. Saw this YouTube channel. That's all I got for today. If you hadn't done so yet, click that sub button and a little bell icon right next to it so YouTube will tell you when I upload another video. Because if you don't click the little bell icon, they won't tell you. And sometimes people forget. I know I do. So if you could do that, that'd be great. And if you liked this video and thought it was informative and entertaining, then smash that like button, man. Just beat it to smithereens. And then share this video with all of your social media. All of it. If you can do that, that will greatly help the channel. Thank you in advance. If you're doing a Jeep build like this and you need some of the stuff that you've seen in this series, check the links in the description to Amazon affiliate links, where you can go to buy the very things that I use to do this build. And if none of that stuff is any interest to you, that's okay. But if you're going to shop on Amazon anyway, could you do me a huge favor and go through one of those links? That way I can earn a little bit of a commission and offset some of the cost of this stuff. Thanks in advance if you can afford to do that, and if you can't, we're probably related. So until next time, you have fun, stay safe, shoot straight, keep your powder dry. Have a splendid day. Thanks so much for watching, and I'll see you next time. Bye.